Alright, to be honest, the Troubadour Matrix Backpack isn't my cup of tea, at least not in terms of look. But I have to say, once I start using it, I dig the kind of pocket compartment layout. Okay, so this is the Troubadour Matrix Backpack, a 20-liter backpack that personally, from what Troubadour is making and from the look of it, is, I would say, an office kind of backpack. So more targeted towards people who potentially have a specific office attire in mind, who work in an office scenario where you would stand apart if you would wear a Gorok, for example. And with that in mind, that is the reason why I'm not really leaning towards this bag, just from a visual standpoint. I just feel like it is a little bit too business-like, a little bit too serious, and more importantly, and that is something that kind of turned me away, and where I can now that I'm speaking about it, can point my finger on top. It looks a little bit bland in a way. Do you know those Samsonite backpacks, those typical bags that, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, that maybe your dad would have worn. Maybe some people that have no clue about backpacks. Those typical generic bags from those, albeit good companies like Samsonite or I don't know. I mean, Tumi is not a generic brand, but I feel like while they are very premium, I do feel like the bags look a little bit ugly, utilitarian, but not in terms of they are utilitarian, but in terms of they are bland and they don't stick out, but the pockets are on the outside just like this. And it does look, yeah, I don't know, it doesn't look cool. And that's just me. That's very subjective, and you might argue that's very shallow, but for me, a bag needs to look cool and needs to be fun to use for me to actually consider. And I will get to that in a second. But the look isn't just really working for me. But there are a lot of things where I was really surprised and to which I will get in the positive segment. But let's go over what I packed inside, then go over the negatives, and then let's see what I actually think about this bag. Alright, let's talk about what I packed inside. Lunch today, I'm trying out this Y food. This is special edition with turtles. Waffle cream taste. Let's see how that tastes. So obviously the laptop slot, MacBook Pro 14-inch. And the main compartment, today I actually have my Fuji XM5 with me. Extra t-shirt, just in case. My mechanical keyboard, which is the knock-free split keyboard. Love this keyboard. By the way, all of the items will be linked below. Those are affiliate links. With those you won't pay more, but you will support this channel with a small kickback of that sale. And if you do so, thank you very much. Then Evergoods Cap 2 liters with all my tech essentials. Oh, I packed a small little tripod. Then here on the top, I usually have the DJI Pocket 3, sunglasses, protein bar, hand lotion, lip balm. In this pocket down here, a pencil case, boo-boo kit, tactical geek pouch, as my extended EDC. And that's basically everything that is inside this backpack. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about some of the negatives of this backpack. First and foremost, this little rain flap on top of the laptop compartment. While it is great to kind of protect that zipper from some water getting inside, this is fairly stiff, so it does get a little bit in your way, especially around the corners, which is quite annoying if you want to get to your laptop. It's not a big deal, it's probably a little bit nitpicking, but I definitely wanted to mention it because as I said, here on the corners, this being that stiff can get a little bit in your way. Continuing with the laptop compartment, and this is a huge big deal, it is not suspended. The laptop compartment is padded, but it's not suspended. And what I would would suggest for you to do is get those kind of, in Germany they are called Tempo, in USA they are all called Kleenex. So this tissue paper that you can get in those small little squarish pockets, put that on the bottom of that laptop compartment. So when you put in your laptop, not sure if it would work with a 17-inch or 16-inch MacBook Pro, but with my 14-inch it does work well. Put that on the bottom of the laptop compartment so your laptop sits on top of that tissue package and is protected. So I feel like it is a huge oversight for Troubadour not to make it suspended. Yeah, I mean, you could argue the laptop compartment is slightly above ground, but still, if you hit the bag on the ground a little bit too fast, your laptop will feel the hit on the ground. So yeah, it's not suspended. Really huge oversight from my personal opinion. But if you put something at the bottom to kind of give it some padding, you can kind of protect your laptop compartment. Continuing with this side of the backpack, this shoulder strap, there is some foam inside, but while it is comfortable to carry, the foam inside is in a way soft, and or at least on my version, maybe your version might be different, but on this version and on the right shoulder strap, the padding inside kind of twisted, and inside this shoulder strap sometimes kind of folds in a way, and I can feel it here, where you feel like, oh, the padding inside isn't aligned that properly. It kind of folded into itself, and you have to kind of... It's not a big deal. When you wear it, you don't feel it, but it feels like it's kind of not right. That is definitely something that I noticed with my version of this backpack. Continuing with some of the parts of the bag. While the main compartment and the laptop compartment both have dual zippers, where you kind of also have a small little hole to put a lock in here, these two compartments in the front don't have dual zippers and aren't able to lock. And for those of you who watched my previous videos, I'm a little bit paranoid. I don't like having easily accessible pockets to not be able to be secured. If you are in a crowded subway, for example, if you're going to work, I feel like it is very easy for someone to just open up this zipper without you noticing, like so, and then getting to your items and maybe stealing something from you, or put a tracker inside one of your pockets. And it's something that I'm very openly paranoid about, and I would have loved that these would be dual zippers as well, so I would be able to kind of tie them up just to be sure that no one is very easily be able to get into those pockets. And for me, that's a big trade-off, or at least a trade-off where I feel this would have been better if this would have been dual zippers, especially because I consider these quick access compartments. Speaking of comfort, the bag is actually very comfortable to carry around. It lays good on my shoulders. The shoulder straps are, as I said, padded, maybe not as good as I would have liked in terms of it kind of shifting inside, but they feel comfortable on my shoulders, and with everything that is inside, it is great on my back. Alright, so back home from work, I've been using this Troubadour Matrix bag for a while. I covered all of the negatives. Let's go over the positives and potentially why I still like the bag despite the fact I'm not really vibing with the look of this bag. First and foremost, I love this top handle. This top handle feels good. This is some form of leather. I'm not sure if it's real leather or faux leather. Nevertheless, it feels great. Not necessarily because of the leather on top, but because it's very soft synthetic cushioning on the bottom of this, and it feels really good in my hand. I think top handles and side handles are so underrated. I feel like they are so important when maneuvering the bag when you are commuting, for example. I'm of the firm belief that when you are in a subway or you are in a bus, take off the backpack. I am a fairly short person, and I've been hit with bags so many times when I was in a subway or in a bus. People keep their bags on. I'm not that tall. I get hit with a backpack in the face inside the bus or in the subway. It is so impolite. More importantly, when it's a big bag, you take away basically the footprint of two people. Take off the bag when you are in a public transportation. Put it between your legs when you're standing. Also, if you're sitting down, don't put it into the place next to you. Put it on the ground. I know the ground is filthy. Then put it on your lap. I don't care. But don't waste space or occupy space that other person can utilize. So take off the bag, and then a top handle or a side handle comes in so handy because you can maneuver it so much more easier when you are in a very stuffy subway, but also when you are at work, you put the bag underneath your desk. It is much easier to maneuver the bag in your space. Side handles for me, again, I'm a short person. I utilize side handles because depending on the size of the bag, when I'm walking stairs and I utilize the top handle, bags that are a little bit more longish kind of bump against the steps. So I like to utilize the side handle. Unfortunately, this doesn't have one, but still this top handle is amazing and one really good feature that I like a lot. Before I go into the main feature that I like and that made using a bag enjoyable, I just want to kind of tell you about the build quality. I feel like the build quality is amazing. The choice of materials are great. You have some leather or faux leather, I'm not really sure, but it feels good here on this one compartment. The rest has this fabric that feels also really good. It kind of adds to this look of the, in air quotes, generic or bland bags that I personally don't like that much. It just looks like this typical, as I said, Samsonite bags that potentially my dad would use. And I don't want to disrespect my dad, but I feel like our dads don't have the style that we have. And I like to have a bag that kind of gives me the certain vibe that I usually prefer. But overall, the bag feels great. It is well made, despite this one shoulder strap where I kind of am confused if this potentially is something in my unit or it's an overall thing, but overall it looks great. The branding is fairly subtle. On this side there is some branding here, but this huge branding on the back, but I feel like on the back that's totally okay. Now let's go to the main feature or the main positive why I really enjoy this bag. The layout of the compartments are really well thought out. I do like these 1, 2, 3 outer compartments, and then you have a bottle compartment that doesn't get in your way that much. I'm always a little bit torn about water bottle compartments. Sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't. I kind of wish there would be something where I could latch my water bottle here to be a little bit more secure, for example, when I'm on a motorcycle. But these compartments are extremely useful. You have this one here on the top. I actually unloaded it. I'm in my office now. Some of the items are downstairs in front of the door. Here I have like a protein bar, but it's a great place for my DJI Pocket 3 and other items like sunglasses that I really need to grab quickly. What I kind of think is stupid, there is this pocket for an AirTag. It is very obviously placed. I feel like if you want to have a tracker inside your bag, it would be better placed, it would be hidden. So a thief wouldn't just right at the beginning see, oh, there's a tracker, because probably they will open up this pocket maybe first and then see like, oh, there's a tracker. It actually says track with AirTag. I think this is a stupid placement actually, but the pocket is great for quick access. Then the bottom pocket is an amazing layout. This is perfect for all of your stuff. I'm a person that likes to pack modular, so I utilize a lot of pouches like this one from Tactical Geek. But if I wouldn't use pouches like my Evergoods Cap 2, which stores all of my electronic items, this would be the perfect place for storing your charger, SSDs, mouse and stuff like that. Despite the fact, and that is something that I mentioned in negative, this would be a perfect place for someone to pickpocket, especially because it's only a one-way zipper that you cannot lock. But I still have to acknowledge that this organization in this front pocket that does not kind of expand inside and therefore has its own volume gives you a lot of flexibility to store all of your important items, and more importantly, with this accordion style, makes it very easy to grab all of your items quickly when you are in the office. So I really like these two pockets alone. Then you have the side pocket that I actually used for some tissue, nasal spray, and this is a really good quick access compartment. Also only one zipper, so not really a place that you can lock. Definitely downside, but in terms of usability, it's actually a lot of fun to use these front two compartments. The main compartment also is fairly spacious and gave me a lot of room for all of my items, but also have a couple of slots to organize your items. But be aware that these slots expand into the main compartment and therefore kind of occupy some of the volume. Meaning, if you utilize one of these two slots with, for example, your MacBook Pro charger, it will expand and will kind of get into your way if you want to utilize like a Cap 2 liter and want to slide it past the charger that you have in this pocket. So that is something to be aware. I didn't utilize these pockets a lot, but I can see that for some people, maybe for a small little moleskin that is flat, this would be a great place. The laptop compartment, despite these couple of things that I mentioned, like this rain flap being a little bit too stiff, especially around the corners, and this not having a suspended laptop compartment, which is a huge oversight, is still a good compartment to keep your laptop and maybe an iPad safe in place. Now, to my verdict. I said in the beginning I don't vibe with the look, and I still stand by that. It has grown a little bit on me, but this is definitely not something which I personally would gravitate towards, because I feel like it is, it's just not my look. It's just, I'm not vibing with the look. But I can acknowledge that the features, the compartment are actually very useful and actually fun to use. But as I said, the front compartments are easy to access, and therefore they are easy to access for pickpockets. Hamburg's main station is fairly known to have a lot of pickpockets, and you need to be street smart about it. They can kind of pickpocket you when you are on the escalator, for example. And in a crowded space, they will try to get into some of your pockets, and not being able to kind of lock these pockets that are easily accessible is something of a negative, where I would say I wouldn't want to use this when I know that I'm in a lot of crowded places or I'm traveling. It's just not something that I'm really comfortable with. I mean, look at the Panda Pack that I reviewed a while ago, a year ago. I love that backpack, but it had similar issues. But the pockets outside were a lot of fun to use, but still, just because I cannot lock them, I'm not comfortable using it all of the time. But if you don't mind the look, if you dig this look, that's very subjective, right? If you don't mind those trade-offs, I feel like this is still a good work bag for those of you who work in an office, who potentially need to wear some office attire that is not necessarily as casual like I like to wear my clothing. Then this could be a good choice. I mean, as I said, the build quality is great. It's fun to use these pockets. If it would be down to look, if you don't dig this look, maybe check out the Panda Pack. I really dig the look of that bag. Yeah, but what do you think about this? I mean, again, looks are very subjective. Maybe let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about this look? Also, do you need lockable or at least dual zippers that you can tie together? Also, let me know in the comment section below. And don't forget, all of the items are linked below. Those are affiliate links. With those you won't pay more, but you will support this channel with a small kickback of that sale. And if you do so, thank you very much. Also, click the like button if you enjoyed this video. Maybe check out the Panda Pack review up here. YouTube thinks that you like the video down here, and help me to get to 70,000 subscribers by the end of the year by subscribing with this button somewhere up here. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video.